that when you have more employees, there's more things that can go wrong and a potential for a customer that's less than pleased. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the pros and the cons, the advantages and disadvantages of running a landscaping business solo versus having a number of employees. Now, I've been doing this for about 10 years, and with the exception of my wife doing the paperwork and the books regarding the taxes and such, and my sons on occasion helping out in years past, it's pretty much been me out in the field doing the customer intakes, all the initial consultations with the customers, provide all of the quotes, and all the seat time on the equipment. Again, with very few exceptions when my sons would come with me in years past. But for the most part, it's just me. And some of the advantages of running solo like that are the personal one-on-one interactions with the customers. Some of them really appreciate the one-on-one, the attention to detail, listening to every little thing that they want with the project. You listen to all of their dreams, all of their expectations. Then I take that, I turn it into a quote, and knowing full well what they want to do, I get on the equipment, I operate it, and it's not a requirement, but I prefer that the customer be home at the time the service is performed. So regardless of how large or how small the project is, I want them to be there to see what's happening in real time, and I can have a one-on-one communication with them. If I have a question or if something comes up, I can get an immediate response from the customer to ensure that what they're paying for is exactly what they want. One of the other major advantages to running a solo operation, it's a lot less overhead. You don't have to pay a lot of additional employees, and not only that, finding good employees is extremely hard to do. When you've been doing this long enough, you know the very questions that you need to ask, and you can find the answer pretty quickly and determine what kind of person that potential employee really is. And it's because good employees are hard to find, I'm not in any hurry to try to grow this business. Now, with very few exceptions, there aren't that many people that I would trust to, one, operate this equipment, and two, to be able to perform the job in a capacity where they would be able to troubleshoot and be able to still get the job done, because things do come up. And do you have employees that you can trust to do that without you having to micromanage or hold their hands or literally be there for the entire project watching what they're doing? It's not a headache that I ever anticipate looking forward to have. I have friends in this industry, and they're much larger an enterprise than I am, and they have quite a few employees, and in talking with them, you learn a lot of the headaches and some of the benefits to having multiple employees. One of which is me working all by myself. I can only be in one place at a time. The advantages of that is, for one, those certain customers, they realized a premium on my time. But some of the headaches of having multiple employees is there is or can be a potential for communication breakdown. You understand what a customer wants, you pass that on to the employees, and something gets lost, and something doesn't happen, or they do something they're not supposed to, or something doesn't get done that they are supposed to do. When you have more employees, it is inevitable. It's a mathematical certainty that when you have more employees, there's more things that can go wrong and a potential for a customer that's less than pleased. With me just by myself, I ensure everything from start to finish goes according to plan. And if it doesn't, I've learned a lot of ways to manage and handle situations and to be prepared for as much as I possibly can be. So the percentage of success goes down and the percentage of things going wrong goes up the more employees that you have. It's just, again, it's a mathematical certainty. So I'm very content in running by myself and essentially being able to manage and control everything as it's coming in real time. One of the advantages of having multiple employees now is that you can be in multiple places at once. I can only be in one place at a time. And when you do place a certain amount of confidence in the employees that you have, should you decide to grow your business, having that peace of mind of knowing that you do have reliable employees, again, is a very hard thing to find. Usually what I've also seen in the industry is that you hire on an apprentice or an employee and they get proficient enough, and what they wind up ultimately doing is they go out on their own and they start their own business. And I think that's wonderful and all, but then you placed a lot of the capability of being able to accomplish a certain amount in having that employee. Now you don't have them anymore. There's also the dramatic increase of the overhead when you bring on employees. And as in the case of this year the economy has been very difficult. Everybody out there knows how expensive stuff is, how expensive gas is, how expensive groceries are, how expensive utilities are compared to just a few short years ago. And it's really hitting customers. And we find that for the same type of work that we would have performed last year or several years ago, customers have less money to spend. And where I'm going with this is that the friends I do have in this industry that also have landscaping businesses, because it's been so slow and they had to lay off quite a few employees this year. Now, because it's just me, we don't have that overhead and we don't have that additional expense. Now, it is worth noting that I do have one single person that I know that I would trust operating the equipment and being able to troubleshoot and deal with situations in real time. And I look forward to that day that I'm able to take on an extremely reliable and responsible person like that. Hopefully someday soon. You know who you are. And if you're watching this, I'm really excited to bring you on. So having an additional employee, even just one additional employee out in the field, dramatically enhances the dynamic of the capabilities that we have and still a small mom and pop type business. Now, for those of you out there, I'm very conscious and very aware of this. So as an example, my electrician is a mom and pop business. Fantastic fella, very good customer service, and that job is his livelihood. Even if he has one unsatisfied customer that he can't get back to and make it right, that impacts him directly. The same as it does me. The same with my appliance repair guy. He's a small, husband and wife business where anything that goes wrong in the house, washer, dryer, microwave, any appliance, any similar thing of that nature, we would rather employ someone like that because, again, that's his bread and butter. That's his livelihood. And that is what I believe is a huge advantage in running a solo or mom and pop type operation, is that there are customers out there who will hire small businesses like that exclusively, knowing that money goes directly to them and pays their rent, pays their mortgage, puts food on their table. And that's a really good feeling for those customers, knowing they're doing that and getting the personal one-on-one connection and attention to detail. So I covered a decent amount of ground in this episode. There's a lot to think about. Definitely a lot of pros and cons, some positives and some negatives. Whether you want to stay a small-time operation or whether you want to expand your business, there are definitely benefits to either. So I want to thank you for spending this time with me today, and let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.